Let's talk about brain fog. You know, that feeling like you're trying to think through a thick cloud? Well, it's super frustrating, but what if I told you the solution might actually be sitting right there on your dinner plate?
Oh man, we've all done this, right? You walk into a room with total purpose, you get there, and poof, the thought is just gone. It's so common we just laugh it off. But what if it's not just some random brain glitch?
The first place our minds go is, well, I'm just getting older. But honestly, that's a huge myth we need to bust. The real reason you might be feeling that mental haze could be something you have total control over.
So let's actually put a name to this feeling. Now, brain fog isn't some official medical term, but it's a very real way to describe a bunch of symptoms that mess with your thinking. And it's so much more than just being a little forgetful.
It's that feeling when you just can't focus on one thing, or that deep mental fatigue, even when you've had a decent night's sleep. Maybe it's just a general sense of confusion where even simple decisions feel heavy. If any of that is ringing a bell, then you know exactly what brain fog feels like.
Okay, let's really dig into this idea that every little memory slip is just about getting older. Because while, yeah, it's a super common belief, it completely misses a much, much bigger piece of the puzzle.
See, we tend to think our minds getting slower is just inevitable, something we have to accept. But what if that's not the real story? What if the problem is that our brains are basically starving for the right kind of fuel?
And this right here, this one idea is a total game changer. It means that your mental clarity isn't just up to fate or your genes. It's about what you choose to eat every single day.
So to really get why diet is so incredibly powerful, we need to pop the hood and look at the engine it's fueling. Your brain is this amazingly complex machine, and its performance all comes down to something called neurological function. The easiest way to think about it is like a massive, intricate electrical grid. You've got billions of neurons, these tiny nerve cells, firing messages back and forth constantly. That's how you think, remember, move, everything. And for that grid to work, it needs clean power and good wiring. And that is where nutrition comes in. Specific vitamins and nutrients are literally the raw materials that build, protect, and power this whole network. If you don't have enough of them, communication slows down, signals get crossed, and bam, you get brain fog. So who are these nutritional heroes? I mean, a balanced diet is always important, but there are a couple of nutrients that are the absolute rock stars when it comes to keeping your brain sharp and fighting off that fog.
First up, we've got vitamin B12. Seriously, think of B12 as the master electrician for your brain's entire wiring system. Its main job is to make sure the communication between your nerve cells is fast, clear, and protected.
So, B12 keeps up something called the myelin sheath. That's basically the rubber insulation around an electrical wire. If that wears down, the signal just fizzles out. It also helps make red blood cells, which are like the little delivery trucks carrying oxygen to your brain. So you can see why not having enough B12 can directly mess with your memory and focus. And our second hero? Omega-3 fatty acids. If B12 is the electrician keeping the wire safe, omega-3s are the architects and the construction crew. They literally build the brain itself. It's pretty wild. Your brain is almost 60% fat, and a huge part of that is a type of omega-3. These healthy fats are absolutely essential for building the membranes of your brain cells, for calming inflammation, and for making sure the signals between neurons are smooth as silk. Okay, so we know the problem and we know the key nutrients that can fix it. But what do you actually do with all this info? Let's build a super simple, practical plan. It really just comes down to this simple 3-step blueprint. First, know what you're looking for. We've got that covered. Vitamin B12 and omega-3s. Second, figure out where to find them in your food. And third, and this is the most important part, you've got to be consistent with it. And here's the great news, this stuff is easy to find. Vitamin B12 is mainly in animal products. Think meat, fish, eggs, and dairy. This is why if you're on a strict plant-based diet, you have to be extra careful about getting enough B12. As for omega-3s, fatty fish like salmon is a powerhouse, but you can also get them from things like walnuts and chia seeds. So the biggest takeaway here is this feeling of empowerment. That brain fog you've been feeling isn't some life sentence you have to accept. It might just be a signal from your body, and your diet is one of the most powerful tools you have to answer that signal. And that really leaves you with one final big question to think about. We've just seen how directly the food on your plate can impact how clear you feel. So it kind of makes you wonder, right? If your plate can clear your mind, what else can it do for your health?